Hi, this is lesson 1, day 2 of unit 3. And in today's lesson, we are going to be looking at finding the area of irregular shapes. Irregular shapes are ones that we cannot classify like we did yesterday when we classified them as triangles, parallelograms, squares, rectangles, rhombuses, trapezoids. Instead, these shapes are going to be a combination of all of them. Our learning target is I can correctly classify geometric shapes based on their characteristics and find areas and perimeters. And so what we are going to be doing is we are going to be breaking down our irregular shapes into the geometric shapes that we talked about yesterday and finding the area of the individual shapes and then adding all those areas together. So let's look at our first problem. You are building an L-shaped desk for your room. The dimensions of the desk are shown. Find the area of the desktop. So if we are looking at this, I'm going to start by breaking it into a rectangle going this way. So I need to find the area of the red rectangle. That's one of my shapes in my irregular L-shaped desk. Do the second one. Looking at this, I see a triangle right here, so I'm going to make this triangle my second shape. And I see I'm left with this rectangle in the middle. So to find the area of the entire irregular shape, the first thing I have to do is find the area of each of these regular shapes or polygons that we learned about yesterday. So the first thing that I want to do is go ahead and pause the video and see if you can come up with the dimensions of each of these shapes. Alright, starting with the easiest one, the big rectangle going up and down here. I see that my base and height, the two sides that connect to make the right angle, are 3 and 8. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to look at this green rectangle right here. So if I look on the sides, I have 3 different measurements, so I have to pick the correct 2. There's this 4 feet, 3 feet, and 9 feet. Well, if I'm looking at this 9 feet must be the length of this whole bottom area, or length side right here. So I'm going to say the side measurements, the base and height, are 4 and 3. Which leaves me just with this triangle. Well, I can see this 3 is the height. So the only thing I still have to figure out is what this base is right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use all the information that I have to figure out what this is. So if I know the whole length of this side is 9 feet, I also know, based on what we just wrote for our dimensions for our green rectangle, the length of the green side right here is 4. So if I do 9 minus 4, that leaves me with 5. And that tells me that between the red rectangle right here and the blue side of the triangle, that's equal to 5. So I have to find out what this red is and take it away from 5 also to find the base of the blue triangle. Since opposite sides are the same, I know this side of the red rectangle is going to be 3. So if I take 3 away from 5, I know this side, the base length of the blue triangle has to be 2. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the area of each of the shapes. Area for a rectangle is just base times height, so 3 times 8 is 24. For my triangle, the base and height are 3 and 2, so 3 times 2 is 6. Half of 6 is going to be 3. And the green rectangle, again, is just base times height, so 4 times 3 is equal to 12. Now that I know the area of each of the individual shapes, what I can do is I can go ahead and add them all together to get the area of the entire irregular figure. So 24, I'm going to add 12 to that first. 24 plus 12 is equal to 36. 36 plus 3 is going to be 39 feet squared. It's important to remember to label your units. So that's how you find the area of an irregular figure. We have 2 more examples on the next page that we're going to take a look at. Our final example problems for this lesson is at summer camp. At camp, you can stay in a room A or room B with 1 roommate. Which room will give you and your roommate more space? So if I remember the steps, the first thing we're going to do is break it down into 2-dimensional figures that are polygons that we talked about yesterday. Find the area of each, and then we are going to add them all together. So if you would pause, please, and see if you can find the area of each of these irregular shapes. And then when you have the area of each, go ahead and unpause, and we will go over both of them together. And welcome back. So if we are looking at room A, I'm going to break it down into 3 different polygons. So I believe the last example that we did the area for yesterday is we found the area of a trapezoid. And so if we look on the outside of each of these, you have identical trapezoids. Now you could break the trapezoids down into 2 triangles each and a rectangle as well, but that's going to be finding the area of more shapes. And so I'm just going to do this so that I only have to find the area of 3 shapes, 2 of which will be the same. And then if I have the 2 trapezoids on the outside, that leaves me with the rectangle in the middle. So if we remember the formula for the area of the trapezoid, we are going to start by adding our two bases together. And in a trapezoid, our bases are going to be our parallel lines. Once we do that, we are going to multiply it by our height and then divide it by 2. So our two parallel lines are going to be 10 feet and 6 feet. So I'm going to add 10 plus 6, which is equal to 16. Our height is going to be the line that connects our two bases to make a perpendicular angle. So that is the 2 feet right here. So I'm going to have 16 times 2, which is 32. And I'm going to divide it by 2. 32 divided by 2 is 16. So the area of both the trapezoids is 16. Which leaves me just with the rectangle in the middle, which is 8 by 10. Base times height, 8 times 10 is equal to 80. So now that I know the area of each of the two-dimensional shapes, I'm going to add them up. 16 plus 16 is 32. 32 plus 80 is 112. So in room A, you have 112 square feet of room. All right, and then in room B, nice thing about this is we can break it into two shapes. We are going to have another rectangle. That is going to be 8 by 10, just like the previous rectangle. And then we're going to have another trapezoid. We'll have to find the area for as well. So since the rectangle is 8 by 10, which is the same as the last one, I'm just going to write 80 feet. And again, using the base 1 plus base 2 times height divided by 2. My first base is going to be 8 feet. My second base is going to be 4 feet. So I need to know what this height is. Now I'm going to find that because this height matches up exactly with this part below. So if the whole thing is 16 and this part is 10, I'm going to take 10 away from 16 to get a height of 6. And then we're going to divide by 2 to get the area of the trapezoid. So a plus 4 is 12. 12 times 6 is 72. And the half of 72 is 36. So if I add 36 plus 80, I get an answer of 116 square feet. So if we were trying to figure out which room will give you and your roommate more space, room B is going to give you 4 feet squared more space than room A. All right. Next thing to do, if you look up your homework, there's a couple of questions that go along with today's lesson. I hope everyone is doing well, and I will see you soon.